Hello. Just today, I realized that I am an animal. It made me pause and reflect. As an animal, what does it mean to be an animal and not realize that you are an animal? This morning I realized I am an animal. There was a specific incident in the kitchen that brought the light into my eyes, then into my mind, so that I could see myself for what I am. An animal. Now, before we go any further, I want to say that I have the highest respect for animals, especially now that I've realized my animal nature, that I am an animal. You may oppose the notion that you are an animal, but I would say to you, why do you disrespect animals? Why do you look at them as inferior to you? Why do you think of it as a matter of shame and embarrassment to be an animal? Why have you marginalized the animal in you? This morning in the kitchen, thinking that I'm only a human, quite content to conceive of myself as Homo sapiens sapiens exclusively, I reached into the refrigerator and grabbed a loaf of bread. There were 2 more slices of bread in here when I grabbed it. It's not quite a full loaf of bread, obviously. It's actually almost finished. I took the semi-loaf of bread out of the refrigerator. I opened it like such, being very, very human about it, might I add. Very, very human about my encounter with this semi-loaf of bread. Took a couple pieces out, did my business with the toaster. Everything was good. I was still very, very much human. Still quite composed in my Homo sapiens sapiens orientation. But then, it all went to pot. It all went to hell. And the came out. I tried to close this. Now, and for you people who like bread like me, you see this? This is the superfluous plastic packaging designed to make the bread last longer, be fresh longer. Now, I put it in the refrigerator for that reason. But there's the additional assistance of superfluous plastic. So here I am. I'm ready to move on with my Homo sapiens sapiens day. I've got a lot on my agenda. I close the bag and I pat down the superfluous plastic inside. I go in. I was going to say I go in for the kill, but that's already anticipating the transformation into my realized animal nature. And I put this on here, but I can't put it on there. Why? Because the superfluous plastic is up inside the neck of the necessary plastic. And I can't twist it and add this in such a way that it will stay and remain fresh for me. And then my mind explodes with resentment toward the people who design the superfluous plastic as an additional precautionary measure to ensure the freshness of the bread inside. I don't need that. I go through a loaf so quickly I don't need the superfluous plastic. And besides, that's what the refrigerator is for. I wanted to throw this across the kitchen. I was so exasperated by the superfluous plastic inside because I couldn't seal the bread the way I wanted it to be concealed. And I wanted to just fucking get feral. I realized the animal nature inside me. I realized in a moment, in a flash of epiphany, that there is a deep, deep animal reserve inside me, a reservoir of the bestial. That somewhere deep within me, I'm roaming the plains, I'm swinging through the trees, and I'm digging underground. Specimen number 2. Now this might gross you out because you're an animal that doesn't realize you're an animal. But guess what? Right now, you're fighting tooth and claw against my concept that you're an animal. Huh. Why are you doing that? Why? You feel that I have encroached upon your intellectual territory, your intellectual self-assessment as yourself being Homo sapiens sapiens. And you feel me encroaching, impinging upon your territory with the concept that you're an animal. And the animal resists the concept that you're an animal. I've invaded your intellectual territory and I am going to steal your sense of self. I'm going to bite into your concept of your sense of self and I'm going to drag it back into my territory with my fangs. You wanted to protect your sense of self. You had this territory, this island of self-assessment where you know yourself to be Homo sapiens sapiens. I leap in there like a cat. I sink my teeth, my fangs into your sense of self and I drag you back into my territory where you are clearly an animal. What am I eating in my territory? I'm eating Homo sapiens sapiens. That's the concept that I dragged from your territory. Now what's left? There you are, looking at me right now, and you know you feel it. You know it. You know you feel it deep inside. You are an animal. Right now you think I'm stupid. You think I'm an idiot. You want to say, fuck off, what a retard. You can't stand the fact that I used the politically incorrect term, retard. You feel the animal inside you getting so ferocious. You know what happens when you show your fangs to a dog. You don't do that. You know what happens when you sustain eye contact with a dog. It doesn't like it. Here we are. You and me, eye to eye, fang to fang. I'm now chewing on your concept of Homo sapiens sapiens. Your identity as a human being is now going down my throat. And now I'm exposed to my throat. And you want to go for my throat, the jugular, with your fangs. You feel the animal inside you. Do you judge the animal inside you? You judge the animal inside you ferociously because you're an animal judging the animal. You can't get free. Even your concepts is bestial. Even your intellect is bestial. The way you think is predatory. You have a certain concept, roaming the Serengeti, looking for another concept, maybe a wildebeest, and pounce. One concept, predator. Another concept, prey. All in the mind. You are an animal. Why don't you just, Luke, join the dark side of the Force, and together we can rule the galaxy, father and son, beast and beast, but you won't. You will use your intellect, and you will pretend that you are a human. And with animal-like ferocity, you will fend off any notion that you are an animal. second specimen, species specimen, for the second example that proved to me incontrovertibly that I am an animal. That there will be no temples for me, no churches, no mosques, no synagogues. I am an animal and I roam free. Do you know that one of the ways that a Homo sapiens sapiens becomes an animal is through his imagination? Did you realize that? You will not become an animal by stripping off your clothes and going naked in the streets and barking at people with your fangs. You will not become an animal that way. You will not become free with that way, because you will feel incarcerated even in that superficial bid for freedom. You will feel incarcerated. Why? Because the remnants of your Homo sapiens sapiens self will constantly pester you and harass you and say, listen, you were so much more civilized. Now you're out on the streets begging like a bum, a hobo on the rails, constantly homeless. That's not the way to become an animal. Use your imagination. Exit Homo sapiens into the transcendental animal. The transcendental animal via your imagination. You want to see the second specimen? I will show you. Are you ready? Very hard to show you this. Those are my fingernails. I clipped my fingernails the other day and now they're falling off. This is a CD case. It's black. I'm hoping you can see the fingernails. I clipped my fingernails the other day and I saved them. Why did I save them? Because they were part of me. They were part of me. And as an animal, I keep what's part of me. As a Homo sapiens sapiens human, I think this is very disposable. I'm going to throw this away because it's disgusting. I know you think it's disgusting, but that's the animal in you that's not realizing that it's an animal. You are disgusted right now. Excuse me. Wallow in your disgust while I put this down. I know what you're saying. You're saying, leave me alone, you little pathetic imp, you demon of the mind. You want to defend yourself. You want to defend your territory against me. I get it. Do you realize that a human being, in fact, is an animal? Do you realize that Homo sapiens sapiens is, in fact, an animal? But we are caught midway, somewhere between a chimp and an angel. And we don't understand that we are both chimp and angel. And that's the human being. When I talk about the transcendental animal, it's a little perverted. Right? Because I'm already judging the chimp. I don't even know if we did evolve from apes. I'm not sure that I believe in evolution, Darwin, all that. I don't know. I wasn't there. All I know is what I was told. And I've come to realize as of late that if you tell me something and I'm supposed to believe it because you tell me, I'm probably not going to believe it. I won't necessarily disbelieve it, but I'm definitely not going to automatically believe it just because you tell me. Sorry, I can't. I'm too intellectually honest. So if you tell me that evolution is necessarily the case and that we evolved from apes to humans, well, I like the idea. I like that theory. But I can't automatically 100% believe in it until I research it myself. And I'm not going to do that because I have other things that interest me. So, I'm agnostic when it comes to evolution. I'm even more agnostic when it comes to creationism. I disbelieve that almost. Or when it comes to global warming. I'm supposed to believe global warming. I'm supposed to believe something that I haven't researched because someone told me. I'm supposed to believe everything that I'm told in education, in school, college, on the news. And I realized if I'm supposed to believe it, then I'm not going to believe it. Fuck it. Now you may think that that's an insane way of being, and I'll just say to you, it's actually more insane to simply believe things because you've been told to believe them. You must do the research. You must take the empirical approach and find out for yourself to the best of your ability. But then you'll find that there are thousands and thousands and thousands of things, perhaps millions of things that you believe that you've been told that you have not researched yourself. And you believe in them as a matter of course. Why? What would happen if you didn't? What would happen if you didn't? You would be in this extraordinary zone where maybe you just couldn't watch the Game of Thrones. No, you just couldn't. You couldn't watch those reruns of Breaking Bad. You couldn't even watch the news. You couldn't go to the movie theater. You couldn't do anything. You would be in the transcendental zone. You would be the transcendental animal. You would realize that this intellect has claws. This intellect has fangs. You are the transcendental